problem with the Ummah is?
I think we have several. I guess I think we have many. I would like to, I suppose the biggest problem that, from my perspective, is that we have a tendency to present the Ummah as a cohesive, one-dimensional thing. And the Ummah is not a cohesive, one-dimensional thing. We have most of the mosques, most of the organizations that are Islamic organizations are headed by immigrants. So when our media goes to the head of an organization to get information, we are putting on the face of the TV that someone with an accent, someone that most Americans identify as a foreigner, rather than someone who they can identify with as an American. And I think that that's part of the PR problem that the Ummah has. I think also that we have a problem with mosques being, trying to maybe, according to the studies done by CARE, I think it's about 30% of our mosques are trying to, they are trying to keep the culture of one ethnicity or one nation. That means that 1/3 of our mosques, or nearly 1/3 of our mosques, are excluding everyone who doesn't come from that nation or that ethnicity. And I see this as a real problem. We need our mosques to be user-friendly. And that is what I would like to see America, Ummah, work on.
Well, you already gave me the solution, so I will not ask you for the solution.
Good.
Yes. So we know that Islamic world has contributed a lot of things to the world, not just
Oh, yes.
right? So in a short, paragraph, can you explain to me what do you think the advantage of Islamic world are for the whole world?
I mean,
In America and Latin America.
you mean like the printing press?
Yes.
Okay.
Like the advantage. What I think people need to hear what
The
Islamic world has brought to.
Well, there's many things that the Islamic world brought to the Western world and to all of the world, including most of the classics. We lost them in Greek and in Latin, but they were translated into Arabic. And so most of the classics of literature that a person thinks of, they have been translated back into Greek and Latin from the Arabic, because there was a time when Baghdad was the center of learning. And these manuscripts, alhamdulillah, they were preserved there. But most Westerners don't realize that that's how their classics came to them. They came through the Arabic. And I guess another thing that comes from the Islamic world that I have treasured are the Beni Sham horses, the horses of the Bedouins. And they are magnificent, and there are very, very few horses in the world today. Probably about 3,000 to 4,000 in Syria, 50 maybe in the UAE, and about 500-600 in this country, and that's it that qualify for that. That's all there are in the world today.
The deficits. opposites about the Islamic law?
Well, I think I pointed out a couple of them on the way.
Okay. Comparing East and West cultures, what do you think is the similitude?
We have many things that are the same. And I think that the East and West cultures are a lot closer in person, especially out in the country, than they are in the big city or on TV. I think we tend not to see, just because if you take the modest dress of a Muslim woman, there are those who cover completely in one country or another country's outfit, and many of us who use combinations of modest dress from many places. There are those who wear the hijab, there are those who don't. And I think for those who don't wear the hijab, you cannot tell walking down the street if you are meeting a Christian, a Jew, a Muslim. You just have no clue. And I don't think that most people realize that. I think they expect for a Muslim to be covered, and so they don't recognize the rest.
Right, that's true. If you could advise Muslims about spreading Islam in the positive way, what advice would you give them? What would you say?
I would say you spread Islam with your life, not with your words. It is your doing. Those of us, especially those of us who live in this country, but all across the world, it is our actions. People see us, they realize we're Muslim, and they see that, and they may not see it or know another Muslim. So whatever you do, that is what they think Islam is. So your actions always have to be such that it puts a good portrayal of Islam forward.
Right, that's true. Okay, I have one question, and it's not in this.
Okay.
In Turkey, this is going to be shown in Turkey.
Yes.
In Turkey, they're banning hijab into federal places and.
Yes, including some of the federal schools. Yes.
What do you think about that? What will you tell the Turkish woman about that?
I don't feel really qualified to give her any advice. Besides that, to remember that where she draws the line of modesty is her choice. God gave it to her. So when Allah gives you the right to choose, that's your choice. And that is where I would say the whole crux of the matter has to lie.
So the last question is, what do you understand for some of these words? But I think you've been a Muslim for a long time. I think you know most of these words.
Yeah, I recognize the words.
Allah, the love of Allah, the universe, the world, the Prophet, Islamic brotherhood, all of these things.
Yes, I know the words.
So I think you have a good understanding of what they are. So, is there anything else you want to add?
No, I don't think so. I don't.
This will be shown in Ramadan. So, is there anything you want to add for people that will see it in Ramadan time?
Just may Allah give all of you a blessed and beautiful Ramadan.